So I made myself pretty this week. I'm sure my ex-girlfriend will be happy. She started wearing black because she misses me so much. So the Vikings start 8 yards on first down. They get into 2nd and 2. And the Vikings must be the worst second and short team in the league. I mean, they must have the highest percentage of 3 and outs after getting second down in less than 4. And this was my call of the week. On 2nd and 2, I said they'd run Cook up the middle and get nothing and end up going 3 and out and punting. And that's what happened. They had like 10 guys in the box or 10 guys near the line of scrimmage, and we were like, oh, let's run into that. And later in the game, Jonathan Vilma was talking about how predictable the Vikings play calling was on those second and shorts, and what do you know? And then on 3rd and 2, the right guard for the Vikings just whiffed on his block. Don't know his name, not going to look it up. He whiffed on a block. So Cousins clearly felt that pressure and had to elevate his throw a little, way over through Jefferson. I think it was the pressure that caused that overthrow more than a bad throw by Cousins. But again, it's like just bad execution. So we start with a 3 and out. There's a shock. Get ready for more of those. Then the Vikings get the ball back on first down. Cook trips over his own feet as he is wont to do.
The handoff to Cook, stumbles forward. Play clock at 2. It's Cook once again. Cuts to the outside.
Cousins actually does a good job avoiding a safety. This is a case where there's tons of pressure, terrible blocking by the offensive line. 2 straight 3 and outs. Way to go, Vikings. Good start. Great punt. Amazing punt. What a punt. Just that punt blew me out of the sky. It is such a punt. I couldn't believe that punt. This is where the announcers pointed out in the first 5 weeks, the Miami Dolphins had forced 3 and outs. The Dolphins got the ball. I think this was the drive where the Dolphins had like 5 penalties almost in succession. They kept getting big plays and they kept getting called back by penalties. And it's like, just because they commit a penalty doesn't mean that's the reason they got the big gain. And even if it is a legitimate penalty, your defense still is sucking. And that's what seemed to be happening on that drive. The Dolphins bailed us out, and the Vikings get the ball back. And what do you know? 3rd straight 3 and out to start the game. Then the Dolphins have the ball back, and good pressure on 3rd and 8 by Hicks on Robert Hunt. Vikings get the ball back. 3rd and 11, Cousins checks down. I don't remember seeing any bootlegs in those first 4 drives. No getting Cousins out of the pocket. This is like what we saw a lot the past few years, where Vikings would go through stretches where the play calling would just be very vanilla, have Cousins drop straight back.
Okay, 3rd and 8, stand still, get sacked. That's a new one.
Tons of pressure, punt. Then Gumby came in.
See what Gumby can do today.
Very weird thing happened at some point in the second quarter. The Vikings got the ball, and they started doing play action, trying not to be predictable. And they just marched right down the field and scored a touchdown. And we saw another award, the Summer of George defense on Justin Jefferson, which a lot of teams seem to be playing this year. You wouldn't want to actually cover him. Another award, this is a new one, the non-Mackenzie Alexander Award for actually having football instincts.
He was blitzing, and he's got just a free shot at Russell Wilson. Russell fakes the handoff to the running back, and McKenzie just goes straight for the running back.
That goes to, I believe it was Zadarius Smith, where play action, Gumby kept the ball, and Smith went straight for Gumby. Like, he actually went at the guy who had the ball, which is very unlike like Mackenzie Alexander or Cameron Dantzler would do. Then we had the Greg Joseph impression of the week. That was the Dolphins kicker just kicking it way wide right. Then Bradbury getting steamrolled again.
Cousins in trouble.
Al, you have a creative mind. Tell me what Mike Remmers is doing right here.
Let me watch.
Then in the third quarter, 4th and 1, I think, and they tried a fake punt, and amazingly, we stopped it. And not amazingly, we did absolutely nothing. 3 and out. And I can't remember how many 3 and outs we started the second half, but I think we started the second half with 4 straight 3 and outs, just as we started the first half. I have cut Irv bleeping Smith written down here. That was probably a play where, I think he fumbled. I think we recovered it, but he fumbled the ball. Just a slow sack. One play where the O-line got steamrolled for a sack. 2nd and 2. Here, late in the third, there was another 2nd and 2, just like that first set of downs in the first quarter where we had a 2nd and 2. And guess what? We give it to Cook, and he stopped short. Never would have guessed. And that's where Vilma was talking about how surprisingly predictable the play calling was. And in the fourth quarter, we got a good throw by Cousins. Really good throw. Put the Vikings up, I think, by 13. I think it was 16-3. And it's like, they've put the game away. Well, what happens? Greg Joseph comes on and misses the extra point. And that sucks the momentum right out of the sideline. That has an effect on the team. And, of course, our defense lets the Dolphins just march down the field and score. And then they get the ball back again, and they're marching down the field to potentially take the lead. But thankfully, Harrison Smith forces the fumble. We recover, and then I think we took it in for the touchdown there. Middle of the fourth quarter would have been my butt cheek clench that we could 3rd and 19. On 3rd and 19, the Vikings' target is to allow between 15 and 50 yards, I think. Their hope is they'll limit you to 15, but they will let you get 15 at least every time. Really, any long yardage situation, they just lay back. Moab. The Dolphins guy caught the ball, and there was just, again, nobody in picture to make a play, and I thought he was just going to run forever. I think we only let him get 14 yards. Amazing steel curtain defense there. So held them to 4th and 5. And, of course, we let them get enough yards that they could go for it on 4th down, and they got it on 4th down. What a shock. And then Dalvin Cook got the big touchdown run. That's going to be our Homer moment of the week. That's where homers try to completely forget all other evidence and just focus on that one play. And they're going to look at that touchdown run by Dalvin Cook and say, oh, he hasn't lost a step. He's one of the top running backs in the league. We should keep feeding him the ball on 1st and 10 and 2nd and 2. No, I mean, you could hear him. It sounded like the Tin Woodman running for that score there. You could practically hear his joints creaking as he ran. He did not look comfortable with that run. And then we had Cousins with the most awkward taking of a knee ever. It's like, why is he so weird? I just don't get it. So that was the game. I mean, my main takeaways are, as usual, there were like 2 points in this game where the Vikings should have put the game away. They went up 16-3. It should have been 17-3 if that idiot Greg Joseph could make a kick. That should have been the game. But they let Gumby just march down the field twice, and we luckily got a turnover. And then Cook ran for that touchdown to put us up 24-10. It's like, well, that should be the game. But then we let them march down the field and score and have to recover an onside kick to put the game away. We can't just put the game away and play some defense. That unbelievable prevent defense. So the defense collapsing, that's still going on and happening at the end of games. The offense just going series after series, not being able to get a single first down, and often not even getting close to a first down. And part of it is I think our offense is way overrated. Like, we have, I think I said this a few weeks ago, we have Justin Jefferson. What else do we have? Thielen is way over the hill. Cook is way over the hill. Irv Smith sucks. KJ Osborne, he's good for a catch or two a game. Munt. Madison's always hurt. What do we have? We have Justin Jefferson and Cousins. That's it. So we need a defense that can actually stop people. And the one good thing we see this year, it happened last week, end of the game, happened this week, getting turnovers, getting key turnovers, going for takeaways rather than just trying to hold them on third down. Takeaways are so important. If we didn't have those takeaways, we would have lost. I mean, you got to do the other things too. Like on the defense, we got Zadarius Smith playing like a monster. What else do we got? Daniil Hunter, invisible. Harrison Smith, he's actually been good. He had an interception and a forced fumble. I guess we got the Smiths on defense, and we got Justin Jefferson. JJ and the Smiths. Maybe that's a new band they can form. I would have felt so good if they had put the game away. If that first time when they went up 16-3, if they had just held on there and not let Gumby throw for 350 yards. Or when they go up 24-10. When they went up 24-10, you just felt like this is it. This is a different team. But then they just collapse. And you can kind of see how they celebrated that turnover. I think Patrick Peterson had an interception. I can't remember what drive it was, but the way they celebrated that, it was basically like this game is over. We're done. And that is the problem with the Vikings. That's always their mentality. It's like, oh, there's a few minutes left, but we're done. We've done all we need to. The other team is going to just give up because we made this play. Doesn't matter if there's time left. The other team is just going to give up. I don't think the Vikings, and I think Vikings fans are the same way. They just expect the other team to not try. That's what a lot of it is. We're going to play the Bills in a few weeks. And you know what? We're going to beat them. Cousins will throw to Justin Jefferson on the first drive, get a touchdown. We'll go up 7-0, and they will just lay down and give up. No, that's not how it works. The other team keeps trying, especially if they're playing the Vikings. They know if they keep trying, they'll get back in the game, and they could win the coin flip. So I just don't feel that great, even though they're 5-1. And people are like, oh, well, they just haven't put a full game together. When they do that, watch out. Maybe there's a reason they haven't put a full game together. Or actually, I would say they have. They have put a full game together. That's them. You've seen them. The full game is them playing okay for part of the game and then just sucking. That's them. That's their full game. If they played perfect for a game, then I'd say, oh, they didn't play a full game, because that's not them. The real them has the sucking. There's a sucking sound. So then they play somebody. They had a bye, and then who do they play? Oh, the Cardinals. So they play Kyler Murray, I think, unless he's hurt. But let's say they're 6-2. Okay, they could be 7-1. Let's say 6-2. 6-2 is a great start, right? Well, if they're 6-2, then they play at the Bills, 6-3. Cowboys, 6-4 maybe. Patriots, 6-5. Jets, 6-6. At the Lions, well, we'll give them that, 7-6. Colts, I don't know. We'll say 8-6, but I'm not that confident. Giants, 8-7. Packers, 8-8. And it comes down to at the Bears, 8-8, and probably win. You're in the playoffs as a wild card. Because that Packer game, that's probably going to be the division still. Well, I know we want to write the Packers off. Packers aren't done. Maybe they will be. Maybe they'll go 6-11. It's possible, but I don't know. I still see like a 9-8 finish. And I see 9-8 talent. So 9-8 talent leads to 9-8 record. But hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully they can somehow go 10-7 if they're lucky and win the division. That would be nice. We shall see.